Welcome back for another bonus episode of Count Me In. For today's conversation, we're going to hear my co-host Rouba Zeidan conduct a very special interview with the Godfather of Arab accounting. Let's listen in now.
So hello, this is Rouba Zeidan. Tonight I have a very, very special guest, Dr. Talal Ghazaleh, who's an accountant by profession and one of the greatest and most influential minds in the Arab world. He's a graduate of the American University of Beirut, which is a pride for for someone with Lebanese origin like myself. But you also had honorary degrees and PhDs from various other universities throughout your career. You've also been honored by numerous diplomatic figures and presidents throughout your life. You also have a very long-standing series of friendships with the likes of Kofi Annan and many more. You're a major advocate of intellectual property, education, knowledge, economy, and information technology. And you're known for your forward-thinking business projects and ideas in the Arab world and globally. So one of your universities in Jordan actually has no testing. In order to graduate, you just need to innovate as a student, which we found quite interesting. How do you feel the educational system in the region is working to promote and encourage innovation in young minds?
You may be surprised, or you may know more than I do that this is not a unique problem in this region. It's international. I was invited by Harvard University, Columbia, and MIT to address them in public speeches. And I told them that it is unfortunate that these great institutions, who are supposed to be the best in the world, have made themselves redundant. Because what they do is still what was happening in the Kutab. They used in the Kutab to sit on the ground, teacher, books, lectures, exams. And the exams are for testing how good is your memory, how much do you remember of what we taught you. But this is the same now in Harvard or in any great university, not just in this part of the world. We produce job seekers by giving them certificates that they are good at remembering what they were taught. It's a test of hifz, just how good you are at remembering what we have told you. Incidentally, I don't remember anything I learned at school or at university, and a great university and a great school I was. I don't remember a single thing. Because they used to teach us what is the highest mountain in the world, what is the longest river, what is the oldest city. It's information now that it is a pity to use and dwell on our memory space instead of using our memory space for useful thinking and production. Now I don't remember anything. And unfortunately, our part of the world, because it follows the American and the Western culture in teaching, is in the same way. I believe it's time, and I told everybody that it's time for universities to realize that in the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, what is needed is innovators and not graduates who are job seekers. Why? Because an innovator sets up a business and employs others. Our current job seekers, they go around looking for jobs like I did. Mm-hmm. I applied when I graduated to something like 700 schools and companies to work. Mm-hmm. I got 500 refuse, no interested, I don't have experience, we'll let you up when we need you, etc. And 200 even ignored my letter. And I keep these letters for memory to teach myself, to keep reminding myself. I keep them in a luggage bag, and I carry them wherever I travel. if I change locations like I did to Canada or to Cairo or to Amman, when I move from place to place, I move this back. Why? Because it is a good reminder that the university degree is useless. Even at the time when I graduated in 1960, there were people who were making money and have no degrees, and making successes who have no degrees. And as I said in my speech today, a job prevents you from being poor, but it also prevents you from becoming rich. That is a fact. Now, our educational system is very wrong, basically, because look at the doctors. Doctor would not give you a medicine without examining you. In schools, we treat all brains with the same medicine. And there are no two brains which are equal.
Correct.
In the world. This is what scientists tell us. Every brain is different. Then how do you feed my body as my body needs? But when it comes to my brain, which I think is more important than my body, you feed the intelligent, the idiot, the slow thinker, the very fast thinker, the man with the critical mind, the man who is lazy in criticism. We feed them the same education. I said in Harvard, the president of Harvard, former president, said the tsunami of knowledge or modern education, this tsunami is going to wipe all schools and universities who do not adapt to the needs of change in the knowledge age. Now, that is why the leadership of change in education shifted from the US, Canada, Britain, Australia, whatever, France, to the Scandinavian countries. Finland today is the leader in innovating education.
Right.
And they are now realizing now and implementing in many schools. First, the decision now is that there is no government educational organization. It's not the business of government to teach. And they are moving all government education to private sector. Number two, private sector should not teach you. The job is to make sure that you know how to learn, not to be taught. And to learn, you learn what is suitable to you, what is adaptable and convenient for your brain. So we have to realize that in the knowledge age where the only source of income and wealth is through knowledge creation. And that's why at Talal Ghazaleh College for Innovation, which I think is the first in the world, not only in the region. There isn't any college in the world which says, I don't examine you to graduate. You have to submit an acceptable innovation, not just any kind. And we know, because we are the largest and the leading intellectual property company in the world, we know what makes an innovation. So you have to invent something, and invent doesn't mean that you have to do something new. Any change to your mobile, in size, in design, in numbers, in program, is a new invention. That is what the WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization, says, on which board I served as an expert. So therefore, what we need now is to invent in order to make this progress, movement of progress in the right direction. There is no place in the future for anything except innovators. And when I say innovators, I mean every individual. The telephone operator can innovate. The painter innovates. Innovation is any addition or change or improvement that has value and commercializable. It can be commercialized. And that is what we do. So what we do in our company, and this gives us an added value, is in this school, we test your invention and say, great, this is an innovation. And then we can register it and protect it for you as an intellectual right for the student, for their own right.
Brilliant.
It's their ownership. Then comes the third stage, the commercialization of inventions. We help them to put them in contact with the right partner, either to buy their invention or to partner with them or to license or to do anything that helps in making the product a commercial product in the market.
So they take off in the world with a career ready, set, go, plug and play.
Yes. And most of the problems today, if you want to focus on this part of the world, which is not that serious in the US, we have Silicon Valley. We don't have a Silicon Valley where there are venture capital companies. We don't have any venture capital companies in the Arab world. And this is another criticism. Unfortunately, in the Arab world, we only think that what is safe and good investment is what I can touch. A building, a chair.
Tangible.
Whereas in reality, one invention, which is just a program, is more valuable than the GDP of 20 countries. Google, what is Google? Computer program. No raw material, no labor, no product, nothing. It's a knowledge product. And it's only a program. Uber, what is Uber? Program. Amazon, etc. These inventions are the ones we are guiding our students at the Talal Ghazaleh College of Innovation. What is your interest? Are you interested in cyber security? Or do you like robotics? Or do you want to develop machine learning? What do you want to do? And when he discovers himself, we guide him to the sources and access the information, because we are connected to all the databases in the world through our partnership in online libraries all over the world. So the important thing is, unfortunately, and I'm saying this, I know I offend a lot of people, and a lot of people are...
The truth hurts.
But they accept it from me. Somehow, because they know where I stand and where is my heart. I'm not criticizing because I'm a revolutionary. I'm criticizing because I want the right change. It was just asked by one of the interviewers, so what can we do to do this, to make this change? She said, I heard a lot of talk in all the region about artificial intelligence. I said, you said it, talk. There is a lot of talk, but I haven't seen any action on artificial intelligence in education. I don't see any school who is using artificial intelligence.
Yeah, because you say that, and for example, the World Economic Forum, when they looked at the future of jobs, they said that 65% of students who are going into their graduate degrees now will graduate into jobs that do not exist.
Exactly.
So what are we doing to mitigate this?
Exactly.
Is there anything that's being done? What are those jobs?
Exactly. Well, the jobs of the future are now clear. You have... Take a little simple example, just robotics. There is the design of the robot, the software that you will put in the robot, the maintenance, because this needs to be maintained, how much intelligence do you want to put in the robot, and then this robot that you want to decide for what purpose and what services you want it. If you just go to study robotics, that's a whole world of services and of expertise. Self-driven cars, which is the future.
The autonomous cars.
Autonomous cars. In 10 years, nobody will own a car. In 10 years, there's no car, private car. Why should I have? Why should I use a driver? That's one of the jobs that will disappear. Drivers. Because these cars will be parked in various parking places, and you online you choose what kind of car you want. You talk to the robot, because the autonomous car is a robot. It's another kind of robot. You talk to this robot, you tell him what you want. He says, fine, I know, I'm coming now. I say, I want you to go take the children to school and come back to me. He takes them to school, he comes back to me, he goes back and parks. You will solve the traffic problem. You will solve the question of investing in cars, repairs of cars, problems of parking cars. That
environmental pollution also.
Absolutely. So a lot of things will change. This has, unfortunately, we think of artificial intelligence as an art that we need to learn and know about. That's all. That should be at the elementary age. Children should learn about artificial intelligence, what we are now telling our graduates to hear about. Children should be told to find out and learn about artificial intelligence. And we exchange information with them on the subject and lead them on how to learn. In the higher education, in the upper classes, before university, اللي بنسميه تعليم العالي الثانوي.
Secondary?
Yeah. In the secondary education, they have to be trained on the applications of artificial intelligence, not the concept. I want children to know about the concept, because you will find that some of these children, once they know about the concept, they can become inventors immediately. The greatest inventors in the world are children.
They're still not conditioned. Their minds are, I guess, much more...
And they have the luxury of having been born as digital citizens. A child in the mother lap, he grabs the gadget from his mother and starts writing.
As you said it, he's learning with his finger.
When I was speaking 2 days ago in Muscat, somebody came to me and wanted to remind me that our Quran said, Iqra. He said, you want to cancel reading? You want to cancel books? I said, did the Quran say that reading has to be from a written and typed book by somebody who doesn't know what he is writing about most of the time? When a child uses his smart tool with his finger, he is reading. He is writing. When he does a search, he is studying. When he sends a message, he is communicating. When he plays with the games, he is playing a whole game online. And so in our school, for example, at Talal Ghazaleh College for Innovation, we teach now our students, we don't teach them, we guide them how to write games. Why should games all be written by a certain culture and for a certain culture? I want games written by Arabs,
for Arabs,
for their historic stories like Alibaba, which is not, I don't mean that, not the Alibaba of China. And I want them to write about the stories about Ibn al-Muqaffa, start write stories about our great scientists, Al-Khwarizmi, our great innovators, and we have to remind, and I spend a lot of time criticizing media, because in the Arab world, our media is only talking about what is bad in the Arab world. It's true, we have a lot of problems, and we are in a very serious situation in the region. But I shouldn't forget my history.
Sure.
Historically, we are a great nation. We're at the basis of all science. The internet you are using couldn't have existed without the Arabs. The story is, when they were talking about this media, The Arabs came up with the idea that we need a zero. The Europeans felt that how stupid the Arabs are. How can a zero be a number? The whole concept of the internet is built on the zero.
The foundation.
And that's an Arab invention. I can go until after tomorrow telling you about the Arab. And I want to create this feeling of pride in the Arab world, because without pride, without ambition, without confidence, you cannot innovate. If you keep saying this is useful, it's hopeless, there is no use. How can this area be no use and of no value when every country in the world is fighting to have its footsteps in this region? If we are a useless future, why should people fight and lose? They lose people, they lose money, they struggle to have control in the region. Why do you want to control something that has no value?
It's useless. When you were talking about the transition of education, how it's transforming by default, not because any institution is driving it per se, it's just digital transformation is kind of leading the way. Like in a discussion with an MIT economics professor, he was saying that even MIT, as established as it is, they're having trouble enrolling students for full-time academia because they are going for online education more so. But in your view, what is the future of education? How are people going to learn in the future?
And I know I'm offending everybody, but I would like to ask every government in this country to think how they can transform their universities and their campuses to useful purposes, because there will be no need for any university or building or campus. Sweden, as of next year, will provide online free education for everybody in the world.
Wow, in the world.
In the world, free. And you will get a degree online from a very respectable university, which has tradition, culture, and which is on that state of the art in education, because that's what Scandinavia is. And the Americans, I know, are learning from the Finnish experience, which is the best experience in the world in education.
So it's giving accessibility then.
So why should I spend billions on buildings and campuses and books?
And student debts afterwards.
Now, that's number one. Number two, even worse. You know that Google is working on a university brain. This is a project which is already in process. I think it will be in less than 5 years. They will have a brain of a graduate student, which through artificial intelligence they will put in my head, and I become as educated as any university. So I save 11 years of my life.
Wow.
And this is not a fiction. This is reality.
It's like uploading software, basically.
Exactly. You upload a software in your mind, and at the age of 14, you are a graduate, and you can be a graduate of any university that uses this brain. You want an American education? Okay, I'll sell you an American brain. You want French? I can sell you a French brain. Now, our educators and our ministers of education are not aware of this and they don't want it. Because in the future, there is no need for a minister of education. Ministers of education will not exist. There is no use for them. Why do I need a minister of education? What is going to do? Because I'm going to get any qualification or education or skill or profession online. We're doing that now. I chair the Arab International Association of Accountants, and now our qualification is online. You don't have to take any course. You don't have to prove that you have any experience or qualification or degree. And this is not innovation. This is old history. In Britain, you can become a chartered accountant without going to school. You're not required to have any degree. No, we don't ask you about any qualification. You just sit for the exam.
Straight to the point.
This is the future.
So how does one, let's say, in this kind of world, you are already a professional, whichever industry, because with AI, as I know you're very passionate about AI is transforming every single job or profession in the world. How does one upskill? I mean, until the likes of Google have had that chip where you can upgrade, what do you do now to upskill? And then so that your skills are not obsolete?
Again, I give you an example. We are a leading accounting firm. We are already for 1 year working on a tech auditor. Our auditors will never need to go to the client to check their book. It's ridiculous to think that you have to go take your file and your computer and
go through the receipts
and check the file. We have learned how easy it is to do all of this online because we have over 100 offices. We don't ask them to send us a report because we know what they're doing. Because online, we are watching his accounting records, his cash flow, his bank account, everything. So if I can do that, why can't I do it in an audit? And our project tech auditor, the auditor will be the program, not the individual. We will input into this program accounting standards, international accounting standards, auditing standards, and in 5 minutes, you will get the report, which would take months and staff to go and check books and records. It's the change, the speed of change is beyond explanation. But unfortunately, the decision makers don't like it because first there is a problem of culture, not easy to change. Second, there is the need for the existence of universities and schools. There is the need for a ministry who tells you what program you can. When I started this,
like a regulator.
I wanted to teach artificial intelligence. They said it's not on the list of courses because they have a list of subjects. I said, put it on the list of subjects. It's not there. I'm not going to teach geography. I don't want to teach literature. I don't want to teach psychology. I want to teach artificial intelligence only.
Figure it out.
Okay, we managed to get it. But and it is still a problem for all universities and all schools that they have to comply with the rulings of the ministry about their program, their courses, the space of the class, how many students per professor, all the nonsense in the world. To get a license to have a university in some countries, one requirement there is to have 120 acres of land. As if I'm going to build a Disneyland or a farm or a real estate.
That's the mandate criteria. Okay, nice.
Change is unfortunately a problem in this part of the world. In my case, the problem is that I'm too much in the reverse direction. When my colleagues, when I issue any new policy or ruling or request, they say, but Mr. Chairman, only 2 weeks ago you told us that we should do the following.
Times change.
I said, no, I'm sorry. This has not changed since 2 weeks. I'm sorry for being so late in making this change. in 2 weeks, the whole world has changed.
Exactly, by the hour, I think. They call you the Godfather of the Arab world. How did you earn that title?
They call me many things. People who love me, who like me, who appreciate what I'm doing, they're very generous, very kind to me. I'm maybe because I'm an old man, that's all.
No,
It's
sure.
my age.
You carry it with pride. You said, and I quote, you said, accounting is a base for better decision making. How do you find that fares amidst that fourth industrial revolution that you speak of with digital transformation and the massive takeover of AI? Will there even be a role for finance and accounting professionals to play when machines can do that job way better, more accurately, and efficiently and consistently?
Exactly. This goes back to the year 1992. I was elected to the board of the International Federation of Accountants, the first Arab ever to be on the board of IFAC, the International Federation, and ISC, which was called at that time the International Accounting Standards in London.
Okay.
Both. And I was the only non-Western. And I looked funny in this,
the odd
meeting,
one in the bunch.
with all the big brains, big names, Arthur Anderson, Ernest Winnie, etc. I said, before we go into the discussion, and this was my first day, what is the object of accounting? Why do we do accounting? They looked at me like this idiot who doesn't know what accounting is for. I said, accounting is to produce financial statements. We keep accounts so that at the end of the year, we know our financial position and our profit or loss. Because that is very important. We want to know our results, financial position and results of the operation. I said, and then he said, what do you mean then? This is very important. That's what accounting is for. I said, no. I like to move that. We change the mission of accounting, mission statement to become accounting is a tool for economic decision making. Once I have these financial statements, my job is, these are not the end. They are material for decision in the future. How can I make my financial results better and my financial position better? So we need them in order to take economic decisions that would improve our operation. The chairman of the meeting said, any second link for discussing this subject? No. Forget it. Dropped. I came back the next meeting with one person who was willing to second my stupid recommendation. And at the meeting, I said I want to go back to the subject of objective of accounting. He said, but we discussed it and it was dropped because there were no second. I said, let me try now. Maybe there is a second. Did anybody do second? He said, one gentleman said, yes, I think it's worth studying. Just let's look at it. Okay. So, study, discuss. Nobody agreed. No majority. There is no change. 2 years.
Every day.
And finally, I got it changed. I drafted the document which is at the beginning of the accounting standards, which says accounting is a tool for management, for economic decision making.
And then you wonder how you earned that title of Godfather of accounting.
But that's me. And as I always say, you don't lose until you stop trying. As long as you're trying, you have not lost. The vote was against me, but I haven't lost because I will still try. And I tried. Now, what I'm saying is, unfortunately, now this has to change also. And we need, in the knowledge age, in the age of industrial revolution, a new standards for knowledge creation. In the year 2005, I was serving on the board of WTO, World Trade Organization, board of experts. Mm-hmm. And I asked that we need to negotiate policies and agreements for trade in knowledge products. And again, they looked at me like an idiot. What do you mean knowledge products? I said, what does... Unfortunately, it was because WTO was born before the internet. Mm-hmm. It's a pre-event, and therefore there is nothing in WTO on internet related.
Oh, till now?
Till now. I fought that battle. They said, you are absolutely right and we support you, but unfortunately, we don't know what to do about this because this needs negotiation. Because WTO is an organization of negotiation. Everything is done in a negotiating room by consensus. Mm. If one says no, it's killed. And the US said no. The US presented. To make a long story short, last week, President Trump decided that he wants to start discussions with the World Trade Organization on knowledge products inclusion in the...
That's excellent.
What he said is to reform the WTO to be able to incorporate the knowledge products, which are what I call... Because, for example, how do you account for Google? Under WTO, trade is either a service or a product, a good, goods and services. Mm-hmm. Google is not a good nor a service.
No.
What does good offer? It's in business. And it's a very good business. In 10 years, they became 1 trillion value. So that must be a very profitable business. Do you know that all of these world companies in intellectual in the knowledge age don't pay taxes? Because you cannot account for what they have. You cannot.
Yeah, it's like when they said that, for example, Airbnb is the biggest hospitality group, but they don't own a single hotel. Same with Uber, they don't own a single fleet, but they're an actual taxi company.
Amazon. Mm-hmm. Amazon paid only 20 million in the UK. Why? Because they calculated it on the revenue Amazon made through advertising. Because companies would advertise on Amazon, and the revenue earned by Amazon from advertising was taxed. But 20 million is
nothing.
It's like one pence for
a drop. Yes.
I haven't seen any balance sheet or profit and loss of all of these major, huge giants in the knowledge age.
But I guess that's about to change now that it's on the agenda.
So now, exactly what I was saying in 2005, Trump asked and called for these negotiations. Now they will form a multilateral negotiating forum for everybody to come and discuss what I asked for in 2005.
That's remarkable. I wanted to... I know that you have a very busy schedule. I just have three more. So the other day at the lecture, which I really enjoyed, by the way, you're an amazing speaker, the room was majority women. And you seem to be very proud of that factor. You compared them to your granddaughters and you encouraged them to continue to learn and grow. Do you find that women are given, in the Arab world, are given a fair chance to represent their gender within the leadership spectrum?
I love women, but I'm very critical of them. Who mandated men to give them or empower them or give them an agenda? Why do you want to submit to men to give you this? Why don't you give the men the agenda? This is my problem. In all my conferences of women, and they say we want to be enabled, I said, who enables you? They said, the men. I said, why don't you enable them? You decide that you're the boss and you want to write the agenda and you will get it. This is the problem with women. They have this mental block that this world is ruled by men, and we have to ask their permission to let us co-rule with them.
Yeah, I mean, the term male domination does come to mind. Do you think companies are actually hiring leadership, like women in leadership positions? Like if you look at the Arab world, the majority of CEOs and, the top echelon C-suite are mostly men. So there's also, yes, okay, let's say all of these women are empowered, they have the education, the qualification.
Because of the culture of women, not men. Women like this lady, she managed to be senior, this Joanne Abu Ghazaleh, not because her name is Abu Ghazaleh, because she decided to become superior to the man in her job. Your decision, I can't understand why women want to beg men to recognize them. You don't need them.
So if you were to give them one singular advice as professional women stepping up.
Take your leadership in your own hands.
Brilliant.
Don't wait for men to give you a role. Take the role. Why aren't you trying, like I tried, to establish companies? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with women that cannot form companies and be their own chairman? Very few. Mm-hmm. But it's there, but it's very few. Because they wait for men to elect them to become in high positions. Mm. Put yourself in a high position and employ men.
Love it. Thank you. I'm taking that one. And then my last question is, with all these years of seasoned experience and beautiful contribution to your sector and others, even music that I've noticed, which is wonderful.
That's my love.
I noticed it's a passion. I've seen you you've followed through on so many different productions as well for orchestras. It's lovely.
I chaired many orchestras.
It's amazing. I want to know, in your opinion, what is the essence of leadership? What makes a leader?
You were in the morning in this speech.
Yes.
I tried in this speech to say that, but without using the word to be a leader. Mm-hmm. I said, life taught me. The leaders of the world taught me. Mm-hmm. My implication is these 30 points that I raised make a leader. Like, you decide, you have to believe that everything in you and for you is your decision. No one is born to be second rate. No one is born to be unhappy. So, you and your destiny is your own decision. That's a leader. I don't wait for somebody else to tell me that I want how to succeed. I decide to succeed. Secondly, to be happy. Mm. Happiness is important in leadership. Nobody would love and try to follow somebody who is frustrated or discouraged or
toxic.
That's very important. Also, the feeling that to lead means how to motivate. Mm. Our leaders think, some of our leaders at least, think that leadership means giving orders. I never give orders. If I'm asked, I give advice. But I give a person an assignment and tell him, swim. I don't teach you to swim. I throw you into the pool and you learn how to swim. If he cannot swim, he cannot be a leader. If he cannot decide what to do and how to do it, he will never be a leader. You have to decide that you are able to do what you want to do. And that success is a decision. Success is a decision. And success doesn't mean that trying from the first time succeeding. Success means that you keep trying until you succeed.
Over 2 years until the verdict comes out.
You fail when you stop trying.
Yes.
Most people, they try the first time, but look, I failed. It's not working. Not working. Why? Because people are against me, because I didn't get any help, because the law is wrong. I never accept that. When I failed because I was wrong. So how and why did I fail? So that I try more intelligently to succeed. I never try to find an excuse for myself for my failure. I don't blame myself because that's also not useful. What I learn from my mistakes, as I also said today, in school we learn and then we are examined. Mm-hmm. In real life, we meet problems and we go through exams and we learn lessons from the exams in real life. So this ability to learn from your mistakes and to admit them with confidence, not with frustration. I failed, but I'm going to try again. I failed because I was wrong, because I did something wrong. So how can I next time succeed? This feeling of self-responsibility and self-accountability, a leader would never say, I failed because my enemy is better than me, or because the government fought me. Government never fights anybody or doesn't want to fight anybody. And even if government fights you in this, I can tell you, in many cases, I was not supported, but I was lucky because I was not supported, because it had to do with the determination that I want to succeed against the odds. What I'm trying to say is leadership is a decision also. You want to be a leader, as I said, as an employee, you protect yourself from poverty, but also you prevent yourself from being wealthy. Do you want this or this? Some people say, no, I don't want to take risk. I want a salary and go and sleep. I didn't want that. In 1972, when I decided to start this multinational group, I started from the car trunk. I didn't have an office. I couldn't afford renting an office. I had a few colleagues with me, and we would meet on the curb, take our files from the back, discuss things in the morning, go fight, come back in the evening with the results. We literally, our car trunk was our office. We didn't have an office. I wouldn't say that I couldn't succeed because did not have money to rent an office. You don't have money, there must be other alternatives. So what I'm trying to say, everything in life is a decision. To be a leader, you must first decide to be a leader. And if you want to decide to be a leader, there are certain qualities. The decision is first, and then there are certain qualities. People must love you. I always say, أن تكون محبوبا أهم من أن تكون عظيما. To be loved is more important than being feared or being powerful.
I think Machiavelli that said to be feared, it's better to be feared than to be loved. I think it was the Machiavellian.
Exactly. Well, I didn't invent anything. As I said this morning, this is what I learned. I learned from life that this is the case. Be loved. Love is the most powerful thing in the world. Yeah. And it's the most contagious thing. You cannot love somebody and he continues to hate you. And people feel if you love me or not.
Correct.
I mean love in the noble sense. If I love you, you can sense it, and then immediately you will react.
Correct.
And if I'm not looking at you like this, look what she's trying to think or trying to know, to prove that she knows something. People usually, when they meet somebody, try to find what is wrong with them. This is a habit. It's an instinct.
Instinctive.
It's an instinct. Look how he's dressed. Look how his hair. Look how the way he speaks. Look the way he walks. I have learned that every individual in the world is good. And there is one goodness at least in him. Look for it.
This has been Count Me In, IMA's podcast, providing you with the latest perspectives of thought leaders from the accounting and finance profession. If you like what you heard and you'd like to be counted in for more relevant accounting and finance education, visit IMA's website at www.imanet.org.